If you have some kind of creative project, some body of work, something that you want to bring to fruition in the world, but you just haven't yet, today's video is for you, and I'm so excited that you're here. Hi, I'm Alex Strauss. I am the author of the best-selling book, The Mindful Walker, and the creator of themindfulwalker.com, where we support busy folks like you and me on the path to more peaceful, happier, and healthier lives through the simple but powerful process of walking in nature, what I like to call mindful walking. And I'm glad you're here today, because today we're going to talk about how that powerful process might just be the ticket to helping you bring that creative project to fruition in the world. And I think it's really, really important. Now, those of you who have followed me for a while know that I like this dance between the scientific and the spiritual. And I like to share links with you guys showing how neuroscience backs up this idea that being mindful, spending time in nature, exercising, all of these things support and optimize our brains, right? We think better when we do these things. And when we put them all together, they're exponentially better. It's super duper powerful, as those of you who practice mindful walking already know. But there's something else going on. And if you're a mindful walker like me, you know what I'm talking about. When we're out there and we're walking and we're in a natural setting and we're being mindful, there's something powerful happening inside us. A deeper connection to something bigger than ourselves. I like to refer to it as wisdom, as the universe. You can call it God. You can call it your intuitive inner self, your higher self, whatever resonates for you. But the fact is, you can feel, and I can feel, that there's something bigger happening. And what we now know is that these creative impulses come from this bigger place inside us. That impulse you have to write that book or make that piece of art or whatever it is, that's where it's coming from. So it's coming from a very deep and important and special place. And so I believe that you need to honor that impulse. And I want to help you bring that creative project out into the world, because I believe it's an indication that it's something the world really needs. And so I want to share with you something that I learned recently from a book that I read. I have my computer beside me, so that's what I'm looking at here, because I want to get the title right. One of you guys shared a link with me that had some information about this book. And thank you for that, by the way. I love it when you recommend books to me, because I'm an avid reader and I'm always trying to learn and glean new things that I can share with you guys. But the book is called The Net and the Butterfly, The Art and Science of Breakthrough Thinking by Olivia Fox Cabana and Judah Pollack. And in it, they explain the research that supports the idea that our brains operate on what they call two different networks. And one of them is the executive network. And this is the goal-oriented, task-driven, get things done part of the brain. And then the other network is what they call the default network, what I might call our default setting. This is the part of our brain that meanders and brainstorms and comes up with these creative ideas. And you know that to write that book, to make that art, to do that thing, you need more than just that creative idea. You need more than just the default network at work. You got to have the executive network to help you actually get things done. And what Cabana and Pollack say in this book is that walking is the number one way to get these two networks optimally working together. And I think that is incredibly cool. And here's a quote from the book. If we had to choose one single mindless activity for you to do, and I would argue that it's not mindless, but that's their word, not mine, it would be walking. That's the conclusion that Cabana and Pollack reach. And so walking, particularly in nature, stimulates both the creative and the problem-solving, task-oriented parts of our brain. And so if there is something in you that you believe that you are ready to bring out into the world, I want to challenge you to use mindful walking to help you do it. Now, I know that you may be thinking to yourself, well, heck, I don't have time to write my book in the first place. How am I going to find time to mindfully walk? And how is that going to help me find time to write the book? And my answer for you is that mindful walking, being mindful, and spending some time in nature does wonky things to time. It expands time in a way that is impossible for me to explain, but you merely have to experience it yourself. And that's all I can say about that. Spending some time, and we're talking 10 to 15 minutes for a walk. I'm not talking about long walks here. But if you can spare 10 to 15 minutes a few times a week, if you can carve out that time to walk quietly in nature, and if you need some help doing it, go to themindfulwalker.com and enroll in the free 5-day course if you haven't already. And this will talk you through it just to get you started. If you're already walking mindfully, that's fantastic. Keep it up. But I would challenge you to take a few mindful walks each week. And when you get back, to spend a few minutes, maybe the same amount of time, 10 to 15 minutes, engaged in some activity that is going to move the needle forward on that creative project of yours. Whether it's just a few minutes of writing in your journal, or maybe you sit down at your computer and make a few notes, whatever it is, I want you to spend just a few minutes of time doing that, because there is never a time when those two networks of your brain are more in sync and working together better than right after you spend time in mindful walking. I would love to hear how this goes for you, and I would love to hear what creative project it is that you are longing to bring out into the world. I'm a real person. I read every comment and I read every email. You can always reach me at themindfulwalker@gmail.com. So send me a message and let me know what creative project it is that you're longing to bring out into the world, and I really want to help you do it. And if you give this process a try, let me know how it goes for you. That's it for me today. Thanks for being with me today as my dog bangs into the tripod. I'll see you next time. Until then, happy trails.